Try again.
Computer. There we go. Josh, nice
Brilliant.
to see you again.
Very good to see you, sir.
How did you find the other day? Obviously, we're catching up a little bit after the main episode, but how did you find it?
Yeah, really good. Really good conversation. I think it flowed quite naturally. There was a lot of similarities, actually. A hell of a lot. And I think you're always going to have difference of opinion on like a couple of things. But yeah, I actually texted Adele afterwards just to say like the tip of the hat, essentially. So yeah, I really like what she stood for. Really like what she's doing. I think she's doing phenomenal things in her space. So yeah, it wasn't a matchup where we were going to clash heads.
Yeah,
It was a good matchup. It was good. It was a good conversation.
yeah, good man. I enjoyed it as well.
Mm.
So this is about pretty much everything apart from business. It's about
Okay.
you behind the scenes, it's
Hmm.
behind closed doors. So it's well, everything apart from business, right? So
Okay.
let's just start with. Well, actually, let me start with why. And the reason why I wanted to do this is because I think a lot of mentors in the kind of mentoring industry, there's a lot of business talk. Obviously, it's the topic of conversation,
Hmm.
and they
Yep.
get drip fed a little bit of behind the scenes. But I am a bit of a, I think I'm a deep kind of guy, and I want to know someone on a deeper level, especially if I'm going to invest in them of time and money and all that sort of stuff. So
Of
I
course.
want coaches to also understand you on a deeper level more than what they can get on a 60-second reel or some stories or things like
Yeah.
that, right? Um,
Hmm.
so why don't we start with, mate, just a general day-to-day kind of run in your life. What is an average day in Josh's life?
Mm. Average day for me, same wake up time every single day. I do get up about 5 a.m. Not because I'm this big biohacker. It's because my son is teething at the moment. So he's up 3, 4 times every single evening. So I have this gap 5 till 7 in the morning where he's asleep, the wife's asleep. The sunrise is coming up in the countryside now that it's summer, and I have a little bit of peace. Have a little bit of time on my own. So yeah, I always like to get up around that time, go to the gym, go for a walk, run, just move, have a coffee, and just sit in my own thoughts. To be honest, I'll pick up my phone, clear down messages. I do that 2 blocks a day, so I'll do that in the morning, do that in the evening. And then my day consists of, well, at the minute, because we're having a rebrand, obviously, with the business. So there's a lot of development work in regards to that at the moment, Kieran.
Mhm.
But then it's just fulfilling my service to my clients and my customers. I'm in a flow of content again now and obviously focus on that as well. But yeah, a lot of it's development at the minute. But I actually mentioned to you before we actually hit record, just on this personal development journey at the minute where I'm really locked in regards to like my health, my wealth, my well-being. I'm just trying to create this flow state where 7 days of the week is exactly the same, and I'm not working towards like the weekend, or I'm not working towards a
Mhm.
certain goal, or I've spent my whole life kind of doing that. So I've created this flow state now where every day is very much the same, and I'm enjoying it because it's not I'm not feeling like this burnout or this rush to reach a mountain or anything like that. It's just okay, get up and just do what you want to do, and I'm kind of in this flow state right now. So
Fantastic.
yeah, I've got the flexibility, got the freedom to do what I want when I want, and I couldn't be more grateful.
Awesome. So let's talk about your flexibility, freedom, because
Mhm.
well, I presume not too many people know in regards to what do you do outside of work? What do
Mhm.
you do when you're not working? What do you do with your freedom?
Yeah. Not nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. So I'm a bit like you, Kieran. I'm a bit of a deeper thinker. So I love time on my own. I am a huge introvert, but I can put myself in extroverted situations and still crack on. So if I'm at an event or if I'm around a lot of people or a big Zoom call or a conversation like this, I can still perform. But I much prefer time on my own. I'm that type of person. So just being outside, listening to podcasts, just learning, just reading, just self-educating is the most important thing. I love my rugby, massive advocate of cigars as well. Really, really deep into that. And I love barbecuing. I'm a very simple guy. I just like being outdoors. And this is the thing for me. I've lived that life where I've I've had more of an extravagant life in the past, like living in Spain for a few years and going out to fancy restaurants, having the cars, having the watches, and doing extravagant and expensive things. And I think once you've been there and you've done it, you kind of come full circle back around to the things that actually mean the most to you. So the biggest thing for me is just spending time with my family, spending time with my boy. And the more that I can do that, the more grateful that I am. So yeah, simple and peaceful.
Brilliant. Let's touch on work then, because obviously I know you've got a lot of clients, but you're also talking about a lot of freedom here. And I think, is
Yeah.
that the dream every coach wants, to be able to spend time with their family and their boy, but then also have a very profitable business? Or how have you managed that? How have you got to that point? How can you have the best of both worlds?
It's just down to the system that you've actually got in place. So I found it, so a little bit about my sort of background. So I've always worked one to one with clients. I've explored masterminds in group coaching. I've explored hiring co-coaches and going down that route. And I've done it before and I've scaled it before and I know how to do that. But for me, the result of the client really came from that great one-to-one relationship and nothing compares to that in regards to the result and the connection that you actually have with the client. And I always felt in my pursuit to scale, I missed that. So I have clients right now who have teams and I help them scale with teams because they've got bigger goals. There is always a ceiling as a solo coach, but the ceiling's been raised and a lot of people don't realize that because a lot of people are stuck in their ways where they have a very fixed support system. They have very much this hamster wheel effect where their clients check in with them and they speak to them on a weekly basis, and it's very much this hamster wheel effect with their clients. And this is where a lot of people feel kind of stuck and uh, kind of handcuffed to their office and handcuffed to the laptop, and then they don't have that freedom like you just mentioned. Whereas what I've actually found is, and we discussed this on the podcast, but that mentor, coach, and teaching layer of delivering a service, I have a teaching layer to my programs that I actually offer. So my customers, my clients have a pathway from point A to point B, and on a teaching perspective. But then additional to that is the coaching layer. So what I've actually found is instead of having fixed availability and limited availability for my clients, I open things up completely wide open. So I have unlocked unlimited anytime support with my clients. And you can either send me a message, you can either have a 15-minute phone call with me, you can have a half an hour Zoom call with me, or you can come to my home for a couple of hours. We can sit at this desk and we can go through things in person, which is where I get a lot of results from in person. But all of my clients have complete choice in the options that they want in regards to the support from me. And what I actually found from that is the clients actually come onto those support sessions with more intent. They've got an agenda. They have a purpose behind that support session. So what I actually find is I've created this almost culture of action takers. So instead of someone getting on a call just for the sake of a call or someone checking in just for the sake of checking in because it's just part of procedure, every time I speak to a client, it's like, right, this is what I need help with. Okay, brilliant. This is the solution for that. Here's the actionable steps for that. They leave that support session and they make the progress that they actually want. And with that, even though my diary is completely open with the availability that I've set, I've actually found it's a quarter of the time that I actually spend on each client per month, which is mind blowing when you actually think of that. And it's because both myself and the client have actually cut out all of the faff.
Mm.
There's no faff. Every single support session, there's intent and there's a purpose behind it.
Mm.
And this is what allows you to scale and actually work with more one-to-one clients, but also have the freedom and flexibility because when they go to book in, I set the availability. Okay, so let's say I wanted to go on holiday in a couple of weeks' time. Okay, I just make sure that that's not available for when people book in. And it's as simple as that. But people have the expectation. They go through my booking system and they just book in
Yeah.
whenever they want that's actually available. So it's allowed me to work with more clients, deliver a better service, but I can still control that flexibility and freedom at the exact same time. So the biggest issue with a lot of solo coaches isn't being a solo coach. It's just the way that you're actually delivering it. And I've just found that way. And this is what I teach my clients as well and coach my clients through.
Love it. Very interesting, very unique. Never heard that before, so
Mhm.
that's really good. Let's kind of go to the other end of the scale then. What current bottlenecks have you got?
Um, Bottlenecks will always be a ceiling. There is always a ceiling, but I'm always trying to find a way to push the ceiling without jeopardizing the quality of the service, of course. But I've been able to push the ceiling is pretty high, if I'm honest. But I'm now kind of skirting around that ceiling now in regards to, okay, let's use the profits from the business, let's leverage it into longer term investments instead, which is again, no one's talked about this in the coaching space. They just talked about how much top line revenue you actually have. Whereas I'm talking about how much profit you have and how can we tax efficiently get that out of the business and how can you personally invest that into your longer term goals so you're protected over the next 5, 10, 20 years. How can we do that? Let's work with the financial advisor and let's actually help you do that. So there's always the biggest barrier and the biggest bottleneck. There's a ceiling with solo coaching. And if you want to grow a business that is multi seven figures, then this isn't the model for you.
Mm.
But for most coaches who want to work one to one and completely on their own, they don't want a team, they don't want a VA, they don't want a mastermind or a group coach. They love what they do one to one. There's just now a way where you can stretch that ceiling from 5, 10K a month, which is where it was before. You can now push that to 50 grand a month plus with what I'm actually coaching my clients through. And this is the biggest issue, Kieran, when people are 5 to 10K. I mean, and this is the issue I ran into in my early career. You take your tax off that, and let's say you paid yourself a few grand a month, you're not really left with much. So you might be earning 10K top line revenue, but your profits maybe 1 or 2 grand. And you can't really do a crazy amount with that. And again, most people aren't talking about profit. They talk about how much they've earned this month, which is the vanity
Yeah.
metric, so to speak.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really trying to protect and teach my clients about that longer term protection, especially now I've got a family.
Mm.
And this is like all of my energy is going into that generational wealth now. So I'm just trying to pass that on as much as possible.
Class.
So using the coaching business is just that it's a stepping stone
Yeah.
instead.
Makes
Yeah.
sense. What do you say your biggest stresses are then, if any? Because we've talked about peace and freedom, go the other end of the scale. What stresses do you generally come across on a week to week basis?
Um, People. No, I think the biggest stress for me, I'm getting better at this. I'm very invested into my clients' progress. So when I see potential that's not being capitalized, that's where my biggest stress actually comes from, and I'm getting better at it. I'm slowly getting better at it. I think it's an age thing. But when I can, those moments where I just want to shake a client or like shake one of my partners, or when I'm having a conversation, I just want to shake them and just be like, look at the potential here.
Yeah.
I'd say that's where my biggest stress actually comes from. I know that's not a lot of stress to some people, but I get so invested. And it's we spoke about on the podcast that scale, like in regards to that 50-50 scale with a coaching relationship and a client relationship.
Mhm.
I used to be the guy that goes 99% the other way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm getting better. I'm getting better. But yeah, people's always a stressful one.
Yeah. That really resonates with me, mate. I think mine's probably the same because you just when you
Mhm.
see that potential and
Mhm.
you can see the life they can live and what they can have, but then they maybe don't take action or they
Yeah.
make a decision that doesn't go towards that. You're like thinking, oh, I wish you could see what I could see, and it's almost a bit of a waste. And you want, yeah, totally get it, mate. Totally get it.
Yeah, 100%.
What have you had to sacrifice to get to where you are, mate?
A lot. A lot. So, I mean, yeah, I started my career on £3 an hour. Moved out when I was 19. Um, Invested everything back into education multiple times and gone to zero, got in debt because of it. Actually, uh, my wife actually took money out of our wedding savings for my first mentor because I was in my overdraft and I'd maxed out my overdraft. Um, I've not had a home until December as well. So I've been searching and seeking for a home because my dad's a property developer. A lot of people like don't know that. So he would buy a house. We'd live in a building site as our childhood. We'd live in a building site for 3, 4 years until it was finally done and habitable, and then it'd be sold, and then we'd move on. So I lived in house after house after house after house, like actually growing up. And like my dad's done well out of it, and that's his strategy. But it means that I've never had a home. So like from the moment I actually left at 19 and actually moved out of the family home, it's been a constant pursuit of trying to find that where I belong. And this is why I moved to Spain. I've moved back. I've moved here. I've moved up and down. I've moved a lot just to try and find that peace and find that stability. And it's only the last 5 months since moving. Obviously, you've been to my home. It's only since moving here I'm like, wow. So yeah, I'd say I've been running from something for quite a long time until very, very recently. So
Love the honesty,
yeah.
mate. Love the honesty. Uh, what part of your life do you maybe not show online, and why?
Um, I think I show everything. I'm trying to think of what I don't show. I genuinely think I show everything
Hmm.
because I'm very transparent and very open and very honest, and there's nothing that I hide, nothing. I'm exactly me, and again, I think that's age, and I think that's maturity. I think the older that you get, you just this is me. Whereas I think when you're a little bit younger and you're trying to show the highlight reel a little bit more, then yeah. Obviously you don't show the stresses, or if you have an argument or a bicker with the missus,
Yeah.
or if the boys kept you up and you got massive bags under your eyes or anything like that, or whatnot. You're not going to show that because it's not an opportunity. Oh, let me get my camera out, let me film. That's not real life, of course. But yeah, for the most part, mate, I'm an open book, as you know.
Yeah, class. I was quite shocked when we met and you said it was your 30th birthday. Like,
Mhm.
so you come across a lot older in age.
Mhm.
Um, obviously a lot more mature, and then where you are in your life, generally what you've got is quite like, for me anyway, to see someone younger than me get to where you are, it's like really inspiring. It's really good
Thank you. Thank
because
you. I appreciate that.
the way that you just are in your whole self, it's some people would say an old soul, right?
Yeah, yeah. Do you know what? I think it's down to like my childhood because my mum and dad were always working all the time, as I kind of mentioned, and I got a lot of work ethic from my parents. Like that's definitely something I took away. But it was my grandma and my granddad that actually raised me. And my granddad was very much old school military man, like old school values, and he never treated me like a boy. So I was almost raised like a man, if that makes
Yeah,
sense. Like literally from early days. Like if my handshake was too weak, he'd call me out on it. If I wore a pair of jeans that had holes in them, he was like, "Do you need a new pair of jeans? You got holes in them."
yeah,
And I don't know. I was just always raised in a mature environment. I was never treated like a kid. And I guess like even throughout my career, I've always been around older people. Always, even when I played rugby, I was around older. I've just always been around mature people. So I've never really, yeah, of course, you're a kid at some stage, of course. But I don't know. I've just grown up. Even going out around the town, I was 16 borrowing a mate's ID.
yeah.
Don't tell anyone. But I was 16 borrowing a mate. I wasn't 18 when I started going out drinking. I was 16. I was always I've just always been that way.
Yeah,
So
class.
thank
Good.
you. I appreciate that.
No, it's good. What would you say your top three most felt emotions are on a week-to-week basis?
A lot of gratitude at the minute. I'm really trying to embrace that because I've always been that next type of guy. So I'm really trying to embrace being a bit more present and a bit more just have a lot more gratitude for things. So that's something I'm really feeling at the minute. Sounds cheesy, but a lot of love at the minute. Especially when I see my boy like growing up and like Gemma with my boy, like I am really, really feeling that, and it's definitely softening me a little bit more. A third one, excited.
Good.
I'm really excited, really, really excited, just about the future because for the first time ever, I don't have like these big mountaintop goals or anything like that. I just have this flow state, and I'm just excited about what will come. I'm just
Mm.
kind of trying to leave it at chance a little bit more, and just make sure I'm progressing, but I'm not putting things on a pedestal like I used to anymore. So it just makes me quite excited for what's to come, really.
Love it. What would you say your biggest mistake has been in building businesses? Or maybe even a couple of little mistakes here and there, but like generally some mistakes that you've made along the way.
Going too cheap. That was a big lesson. Invested a lot and almost destroyed my fitness coaching company at the time trying to do that. That was a big lesson, really big lesson. So that was out of trying to help more people as well. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a business move. So I had one-to-one coaching business. I wanted to create a community. I wanted to create like a members portal. Again, I mentioned on the podcast, I'm not very good at communities, but it was supposed to be lower ticket, £14.99, and I was just going to pump in everything I knew into this one community, and it spent thousands of pounds on like the campaign and getting it ready. This is before AI, so I'd coded actually quite a lot of it and then paid for help to get quite a lot of that, and it completely flopped. I think we had 11 or 12 signups on it,
Mm.
and I almost lost the business. So that was a big lesson. Like, don't undervalue yourself trying to help people, because Russell Brunson says it all the time. The people that pay, they pay attention, and the people that pay attention, they're the people who get results. So you actually do a disservice trying to be cheap. So that was a huge lesson that I've actually learned. Second one, don't lose yourself in the pursuit of being influenced by what you think is success. Again, with previous business that I've been a part of, it was very much about the cars, the watches, the showy sort of life, like show your wealth, show your money. And it was never really me. But I got sucked into it and was spending too much money as well, and ended up earning a lot of money during a period of time, but had no profit
Mm.
because it was all being spent to try and keep up with that showy lifestyle. The thousand euro dinners and the cars and the watches and the parties and like things like that. And it's yeah, definitely learned my lesson there. That was a big one as well.
Nice. What would you say you're most proud of in life, mate?
These are some quick fire questions actually. Um, I think just the journey. I think like coming from like £3 an hour as like an apprentice fitness instructor, like it's I think just the perseverance and the journey so far I'm proud of. Yeah, I'd 100% say that. Because like most people in that situation, they stay stuck in that situation, but there was always something more, and I
Mm.
didn't fucking stop, and I won't stop.
Yeah,
So
nice.
that, yeah.
Talking about not stopping then, what's plans for the future? Where are you going to be in the next 5 year?
Oh, exclusive. We're looking at land. So I want to acquire a bigger plot of land. I want to have a good like few acres. And the goal for me is to build a generational home. So this will be a plot of land that is completely private, where it's our family home, but there's also a couple of additional homes on the same land. So everything for me now, the goals for me is not just about mine and Gemma's life. It's about Jack's life, my sons, and also his kids.
Mm.
So everything I'm trying to set up now is to protect and provide for them. So even when I'm sounds cheesy, but when I'm long and gone, I know that everyone's good and no one has to worry or stress or
Mm-hmm.
panic or overthink or overwhelm, or they can be protected in the world that we've got now that's very public.
Mm.
I really want to create that safety net as much as I can do. So like if shit hits the fan, you're good.
Yeah.
Like it's okay,
Yeah.
and that's what I want to try and create for the family now. So yeah, that's the main goal now. So which is
Nice.
very cash intensive.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a lot of stacking cash in
Yeah.
to get to that point.
Obviously, you mentioned you were close with your granddad. Do you think that goal you've got there plays a part with that because you then will be close to, your son's kids and you can be your version of your granddad?
Oh mate, yeah, I've never thought of it like that, but yeah, yeah, that gave me goosebumps actually. Yeah, yeah. No, you're right. You're right. I think that'd be amazing. I think for me, just sitting around that Christmas dinner table and you got your family around you and like everyone's looked after, and like to me, that's the biggest like tip of the hat that I can kind of give to life. If I can leave leave this life and that's all set up, then we're good.
That's teaching the grandkids how to have good handshakes.
That's it.
Class mate. Last question then. Bit of a deep one, but I've always finished on this one.
I think they're all deep.
I want you to imagine it's your 85th birthday. Your whole
Mhm.
family, friends, and everyone you have ever met has came to your last ever birthday party, and they've
Mhm.
all got something to say to you. What would you want that to be?
Ooh. Ooh. I have no idea. Um, I don't want to thank you. I don't know, mate. You've stumped me with that one. Um,
Funny enough, my answer, just to jump in, my answer to this question was I'd want them to thank me. I'd want them to thank me that I have helped them in some way and that I've made their life a bit better by me being in it in some way.
See, I don't want the thanks because I look at it more of a it's my personal goals and duties. It's a me thing. So
Hmm.
I don't expect a thank you. I don't expect like anything.
Hmm.
So this is why it's stumping me with that question. I would want them to say happy birthday and treat it just like another fucking birthday.
Cool. I like it. I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
Class mate. Well, that concludes the behind closed doors. I really feel we did actually get behind closed doors there, so I appreciate your
Cool.
openness and your honesty, mate. And
Always.
yeah, I'll put all your information in the well everywhere this will be. YouTube,
Everywhere.
Spotify, in the school group, everything else. Anyone who wants to contact you can just reach out and get in touch.
Cool. Cool. Perfect. Thank you very much.
Class
Appreciate
mate.
your time.
Appreciate your time.